Hello and welcome to Vlogmas Day 7. Okay, we're doing a grocery haul. We have some tofu for Chloe.
Medium firm.
Medium firm.
Fried noodles.
Fried noodles.
Garlic.
Garlic.
Purple
Oh,
yam.
this is peeled garlic, so don't have to bother peeling it. Purple yams.
And
vermicelli.
Raspberries.
Raspberries.
They
Organic?
look juicy and delicious. They're not organic.
Not organic.
Diced tomato and beans for our
Chili.
our meal on the menu.
Oh, for our tasty menu meal. Oh, I didn't realize I was zoomed all the way in.
Bananas. And these wild-caught Argentinian shrimp. They're so delicious.
Those are really good actually. They're frozen, so they last in your freezer for a while.
Acorn squash.
Acorn squash, also for Chloe.
Asparagus.
Asparagus.
Onions.
Onions.
Chicken breast.
Chicken breast.
Tomatoes and more sweet potato.
Yum. Ooh. Uh-oh.
It
broke in two. We also picked up some tissues. My parents just came over to drop something off for Chloe, and then they just hung out a little bit and then they left. Actually, my mom took you guys must have noticed that I am always wearing like a gold bracelet on my, what wrist is this? My right wrist. And it's actually a medic alert bracelet because I'm on anticoagulants. So she actually took it, because she's actually the one who bought it for me, but she took it to get checked because it's a bracelet that I always have on all the time. I never take it off at night when I go to sleep. I always shower with it on. So she went to get it checked, and then she's gonna come and just drop it off. It's kind of a slow day today, so I'm going to do a Q&A for this Vlogmas episode, and I'll probably have to break it up into 2 videos, but first, let me show you what my mom dropped off. Chloe is currently napping right now, but I sort of hear her. She's definitely awake. She's just rolling around. In case what you're wondering what that is Chloe's not disposable, her reusable diapers. We're just letting them air dry. We basically wash her diapers every other day. Anyway, this is what my mom had dropped off. She actually dropped off 2 things. One is a wrapped present that I put under the tree for Chloe, and then this is the other item, which is also supposed to be a kind of like a Christmas gift, but my mom couldn't wait, so she didn't keep it in the box. But it comes in this. This is what we were actually talking about the other day. It's like that little bouncy house. So one, it's great because it's super compact, so when you want to put it away, you can just fold it back up. I'll have to ask her where she got this from in case anyone else is interested. So there's 2 pieces. One is just this little piece here. The other piece is a bit bigger, and it just folds out like that, and this piece here is actually the roof, and you can there are these little toggles that you can connect to the roof to keep it in place. So this is what it looks like. It's so cute. So it's just this little bouncy, not really a bouncy house, but it also came with 200 of these little plastic balls. That was my mom. She was just dropping off my bracelet here. So yeah, that's just basically what it looks like. I'm sure you guys have seen it in like all of my videos because I wear it all the time. Anyway, fun bouncy house. And then it comes with a bunch of balls. I'm gonna wipe all of these down because Chloe is still in the phase where she will put everything in her mouth. Literally everything. Anything she can put her hands on, she will. Her first instinct is to put it in her mouth, so I just like to give her everything like a once over before I give it to her. But yeah, super fun. Hi. Did you have a nice nap? You did? You did have a nice nap? Like that? I love you. Okay, I'm sitting in the office to do the Q&A. Figured a nice little background change because I'm obviously I'm not gonna stop wearing this sweater, and I feel like I've worn the sweater for the majority of vlogmas videos so far. I will have you know that I actually own 3 of these sweaters, so I'm not actually wearing the same sweater every day, even though it's the same style. It's technically a different sweater. I have the questions on my phone, so I'm gonna go through them. I got, I think, about 28 questions. I know, very specific. And I separated them into categories as best as I could. So I got some COVID related questions, finance, miscellaneous, like some mom, Chloe questions, some personal questions, school/career, and then YouTube. So I'm not gonna be able to answer all of these questions today without making this video an hour and a half long. So in today's Q&A, I'm gonna do probably personal mom stuff and then COVID stuff. And then in the next Q&A video, which will probably be in a couple of days, kind of spread them out, you know, don't want to bore you guys. I'll do the rest of the questions. So school and career, YouTube, finance, and miscellaneous. I will pop all of the questions over here so you can see them. I did redact everyone's profile picture and username because I just don't know what the rule is with that, and I'd rather just redact it. So I'll start with the personal questions. It's kind of a broad category. I just didn't really know what else to call this category. But the first question is, how old am I? Or how old are you? So I am 31. I will be 32 next year, 2021. What were you like in high school? I was kind of a bit of an outcast in high school. I didn't really fit in anywhere. I had a bunch of different like friend groups throughout high school. And, you know, it took me leaving high school, going to university, and, you know, starting my first job to actually find like more like-minded people. And yeah, so it's not like I had a terrible high school experience. I had friends. I kind of felt a little bit like a grifter because I would like move from friend group to friend group. I actually probably only talked to 1 or 2 people from high school semi-regularly. You know, I don't have, you know, some people go through high school with like the same group of friends and they probably still talk to them. Like, that just wasn't me. My mom actually just mentioned this like anecdote a couple of weeks ago. Her dental hygienist, which is the same dental hygienist that she's been going to for years, she was asking my mom what high school I had gone to, and she told my mom that she had a daughter who was a grade younger. She had actually asked her daughter if she knew me. You know, parents always love to do that. It's like, oh, do you know like so-and-so from this place and that place? That girl described me as preppy. So what was I like in high school? Apparently I was preppy. It was kind of hard not to be preppy though, because we had to wear uniforms. So I don't know how you're not preppy in a uniform, but that's how she described me. I was preppy. Okay, next question. What kind of car do you drive? So I actually did a video on this a few years ago, but I drive a 2013 Mercedes GLK 250. It's an SUV. I've had it for a while. And I've actually, funnily enough, we just hit 200,000 kilometers on this vehicle. I do drive a lot. I commute, when I was working, I drove 100 kilometers a day to and from work. So it's a great vehicle. I love it. It's a diesel, like I said, which is great because I drive so much. So it is quite efficient on fuel, which I like. And that's really the reason I picked that up, is because at the time there was Dieselgate happening with Volkswagen, and it was like one of the few diesels that you could actually buy on the market. Which part of Canada do you live in? So I live in Ontario. I've only ever lived in Ontario. I have visited other provinces in Canada, but I've only ever lived here. Why do you call your husband the beau? So if you have been watching my videos for a while now, you guys know I call my husband the beau. He hasn't always been my husband. I already had this channel when we first started dating, but he was first my boyfriend, then my fiance, and then now my husband. We've been together for a decade, and there's no particular reason why I call him the beau. It's just kind of this term of endearment that stuck, and I just kept using it. I know it annoys a lot of people, and people, for some reason, I think I'm keeping his name a secret. It's really not like that. It's just, I think it's just like cute. Instead of saying, at the time, instead of saying, oh, my boyfriend and this and my boyfriend that, I would just say the beau, and it was just Cute. So I just kept on with it. How did you and your husband meet? We met actually at a wedding. Well, that's not true. We actually met through a family friend, the same family friend whose wedding we met at like several years later. We met, I was still in high school and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And he was in university at the time. He was doing a Bachelor of Commerce. And my mom basically suggested that I go talk to someone who is in university and like see what the program's like and all that kind of stuff. So we actually met back then, even though my mom did most of the talking. And then, you know, I just went on with my life and I never gave it a second thought. And then we, yeah, met again at this wedding in 2010. And we would have been together 10 years this past September. So those were all the questions that I deemed personal. So I'll switch to my next category, which is mom/baby. I got quite a few questions about that. And like I mentioned in a previous vlog, a lot of you said you'd like to see more of Chloe. Unfortunately, she is sleeping now because it's way past her bedtime. Any tips for postpartum hair loss? Luckily, I actually didn't get too much postpartum hair loss, except for when Chloe started like grabbing onto hair, and she has probably pulled out more hair out of my head than I have lost through like hormonal changes. So I don't necessarily have like that great of tips. The one thing that I do, and I've been doing it probably for the last 6 months, is putting castor oil just at my hairline. And I just heard castor oil is supposed to be really good. So I just have like a little bottle of it. And it has like one of those fun little pipettes. So I just like drop it literally on my hairline and I feel like it's working. I mean, my hair is like relatively growing back, but unfortunately that's the only thing I've been doing. I haven't really lost a lot of hair, which I'm grateful for, but if you haven't tried castor oil, I recommend it. They also say it's really good for your brows too, if you're trying to grow your brows back in. How are you enjoying motherhood? It is totally different than I thought it would be, first of all. I mean, you read all the books and you like go through all these seminars, but actually being a mom is crazy. I had no idea that these like mom instincts were a thing, but they are, because like between the beau and I, he probably read twice as many books as I did. He'd be reading books and he'd be like, oh, did you know this? And I'd be like, isn't that just common sense? Yeah, motherhood is crazy. It's definitely a huge change because there's a lot less freedom. You know, you can't just like go out whenever you want. You can't just sleep in whenever you want. But it's also been really rewarding because it's just so fun to see Chloe grow and learn and just interact. And the 4th trimester, which is what they call like the first 1 to 3 months after your baby is born, was difficult, but not as difficult as I thought it would be. It was definitely not my favorite part. My favorite part is probably the last 3 months when she's been like moving around more and she's babbling and she's smiling. So it's been rewarding, but also hard. Are you going back to work after mat leave? Yes, I have plans. Even before Chloe, even after Chloe, I had plans 100% to return to work after my mat leave. I'm actually considering returning to work early because there's an opportunity that has come up that I don't want to miss out on. And I gotta tell you, mom guilt is definitely like a real thing. And I don't know why I feel so guilty about it. I think it's just, I don't know why I feel guilty. I'm grateful for the time that I've had to spend with Chloe, obviously. I know in some countries, mat leaves are really, really short. They're like a few months. And, you know, I'm so happy that one, I had the opportunity to be off for at least 18 months with Chloe. I'm also really grateful that I don't have to return to work because of like financial reasons, but this opportunity is just something that I don't want to miss out on just because I got pregnant and I had a baby. So yeah, I'm kind of torn because of course I want to spend time with Chloe, but at the same time, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. So it's yeah, quite a pickle, that mom guilt. What do you miss about pre-baby days? pretty superficial things, to be honest, like being able to sleep in. Every morning Chloe wakes up at 6:30. That's when we get her. So even on the weekends, like we wake up at 6:30. So I do miss like being able to sleep in on Sundays. But at the same time, you know, it's pretty fun to hang out with her because she's getting so like fun and interactive these days. Will you be taking a 12-month or an 18-month mat leave? P.S. Chloe is so cute. Thank you so much. This is kind of a humble brag, but yeah, a lot of people have commented, not just like on the internet, but also in real life, how cute Chloe is. And I don't know if it's because of her hair, and it's bizarre because she doesn't really obviously get out much, and we really just go to like doctor's appointments, and occasionally like we go to the grocery store together. But whenever we go out, someone always comments on like how luscious her hair is and how cute she is. So I'm sure Chloe is very flattered by all the compliments, so thank you. So in terms of my mat leave, I initially just took the 12-month mat leave. And then because of COVID, I was considering actually extending the mat leave, just because, I mean, why not? Like things probably aren't going to get back to normal for a while. So I was, yeah, debating actually extending it, but originally my plan was 12 months and then returning to work. Although that might be cut short too, so yeah, everything's just up in the air. How do you manage work and motherhood? I don't know yet because I haven't returned to work yet, but I can imagine it's hard. You guys, if you are a mom and you also work full-time, part-time, let me know how you do it and how you also deal with mom guilt, because that's seriously a thing. When did you know you were ready for kids, and how long were you trying before you had Chloe? So to be honest, like I went through life, a majority of my life, thinking I wasn't gonna have kids. Like I wasn't really that interested in kids. You know, some people, they just know, like in high school, they just know like when they're 25, when they're 30, they want like 4 kids. That wasn't me. I went a majority of my life thinking, kids are cute, but like maybe that's not for me. And it wasn't really an epiphany of any kind. You know, it's obviously something that you should definitely talk to your partner about before you start a relationship, or you know, escalate a relationship, because it is definitely, it could be a deal breaker. We just decided a few years ago that like we were ready. You know, we had been married for like 2-3 years at that point. We were together for I don't know, like 7-ish years at that point. So we just thought, yeah, you know, it's time. I don't think you're ever really ready to have kids. You just think to yourself, well, you know, let's try it out. The second part of the question was, how long were you trying before you had Chloe? We tried for like a couple years. It'd be hard to say because when we started trying, we got pregnant really quickly twice, but then we had 2 miscarriages, which was obviously very devastating at the time. And then we just paused for a little bit, and we saw some doctors. We even saw a fertility specialist, and then we found out that my uterus actually had a polyp in it that was like 2 centimeters big. So it was pretty big. It was like that size, I think. So I went through the process of having that removed. So then after that, we started trying again, and yeah, we had Chloe shortly after. Are you going to have more kids? We haven't decided. We, like, either way, we haven't decided. We haven't decided if we were going to have more, and we haven't decided if we're done. It's just something that we're kind of like leaving open. If we did have kids, we would only have 1 more, like 2 is our maximum. We wouldn't have more than that. But it's not off the table, but it's not something that we're actively thinking about right now, because we still have Chloe and we're still trying to figure that out. So it would be like well into the future. But yeah, we haven't really decided yes or no. What's the best thing about being a mom, and what's the worst? I think I kind of already answered this, but the best thing is obviously like watching Chloe grow and like seeing this human being that's like half you and half your partner like grow before your eyes. It's crazy. And the worst thing is yeah, just like, I wouldn't say even the lack of freedom, but it's definitely an adjustment. Like I definitely miss sleeping in, but yeah, it's also been rewarding in other ways. Those were all of the questions from the mom/baby category, and now we're going to talk about the COVID related category, and then we'll call it a Q&A for today. So the first question is, what's something positive that has come out of COVID for you? I would have to say the beau working from home. So when we had Chloe, he was off for 2 weeks, And the first week he kind of used up during the week we were supposed to be induced. So once we had Chloe, he was actually only home for like a week and a bit before he had to go back to work. And then like a few weeks later after that is when COVID really just like hit its peak, and there was this huge lockdown and everyone had to work from home. So he got to work from home, and it was really nice because like, you know, during his breaks, he would come down and like be able to see Chloe. And if I needed like, you know, a break in the middle of the day, just like a quick break to maybe like take a shower or to like eat, he could like time his breaks accordingly. So he would take a break or take his lunch at a certain time so that I could have a little bit of like me time throughout the day. So I think that's honestly the best thing that has come out of COVID for us, because if it wasn't for COVID, obviously he'd be working in the office all the time. And one, he wouldn't be able to get to see Chloe throughout the day. And two, I wouldn't have that extra help. It's nice to have that extra help when you're trying to maneuver like a newborn. So that was definitely something positive. What has quarantine / lockdown been like for you? To be honest, it has been fine. And I totally sympathize with everyone who has been negatively impacted by quarantine and COVID and lockdown. And it's just, it's obvious, it's really devastating. Like people who are out of work, people who are sick. But for us, really, it's just been a slight, you know, change in our lifestyle. So we have to wear masks when we go out. We're definitely going out less. Other than that, it's actually been, you know, not that bad. We have definitely been cooking a lot more. I think I mentioned that in a previous video, just because, you know, we used to actually eat out a lot, but even with Chloe, we probably wouldn't have been eating out a lot. So we're definitely cooking a lot more. I will tell you, I was really looking forward to going to like mommy and baby classes and like taking Chloe to the mall, just to, like peruse around. Just to get out, like going to Starbucks and just like having a latte and having her like in the stroller just hanging out. We haven't been able to do any of that stuff, but it's totally fine. We just, you know, go for walks in our neighborhood. Yeah, we just hang out mostly in our home, in our backyard. But like I said, definitely could have been worse. So I'm grateful for, you know, what I have and what we're doing. So what, if anything, has 2020 taught you? Honestly, 2020, it's still such a surreal year for me because one, we had a baby, and two, COVID, and it just doesn't feel real. The main thing that 2020 has taught me is really just to, you know, appreciate the ones that are around me, and it's really put into perspective like the things that I value in life. And what I value most in life is those moments and being able to share those moments with family. I think that's definitely the hardest part of 2020 is not being able to like see your friends and family as much. Fortunately, I've been able to see my mom quite regularly, and gratefully there's technology so you can FaceTime with everyone. But I really this year wanted to actually take Chloe to the Philippines to see my Lola, which is grandma, but we can't do that because of COVID. Anyway, if 2020 has taught me anything, or not even taught me, but like reinforced anything, it's that material things are not a luxury. A luxury is time and the ability to spend it with family, and just intangible things like that. Like those are luxuries. It's not like this new sweater that I bought the other day or a new handbag that I'm considering purchasing. It's those intangible things. What's the first country or place you would like to travel to once it's safe? So I already mentioned it, but I want to go to the Philippines when it's safe to do so with Chloe, because I want her to be able to meet my Lola. And I have actually lots of family still in the Philippines. In Canada, I don't have a lot of family. I have my mom, I have my dad, I have the beau, I have the beau's family, and that's it. So it's sad. I don't have any cousins here or any other relatives. So I want to be able to, yeah, take Chloe to the Philippines so she can actually meet her cousins. Would they be cousins? But anyway, family. Although a lot of my cousins have like dispersed. I have a cousin now in Sweden, one in Dubai, so we'd have to coordinate it so that everyone can be in the same place at the same time. I'm curious to know what your childcare plans are once you return to work during COVID. Our original plan before COVID was daycare. Now with COVID, we don't feel comfortable putting Chloe in daycare just because she does spend a lot of time with her grandparents. So we don't want her to get sick, whether it's just like a common cold or flu or maybe COVID, and then bring it home to, you know, her grandparents. So we are actually fortunate enough to have grandparents like available so they can take care of her, you know, a few times a week. And yeah, we might have to coordinate like an actual caregiver. What did you and Chloe do to fill your day during quarantine? So for the majority of the time, we will just play inside. We do go for walks around the neighborhood. If, you know, I do need to do like a really quick errand, sometimes I'll bring her, usually first thing in the morning, so it's not busy. Like we don't like to bring her into like really crowded areas. And then yeah, we would just like play games. I actually downloaded this app called Baby Sparks, and it gives you a bunch of different activities that you can do during the day to help with cognitive and physical development. So yeah, we try to do like 4 to 5 of those activities a day, and we kind of do them throughout her awake times. And then if one of her grandparents comes to visit, she usually plays with them. So even during quarantine and COVID, she still gets quite a bit of interaction, even if it's just with like me or her grandmas. Those are all of the questions for today. And I definitely need some water because I feel parched. Okay, number 7. Oh, these are kind of hard to open. It says, quick, while Santa's not looking. I'm gonna call it for day 7. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I am going to do part 2 of my Q&A, which will cover finance, YouTube, what else, some miscellaneous questions in a following vlogmas episode. And if you have any other questions that you want to ask, I haven't filmed that next part of the Q&A yet, so if you still have burning questions to ask me, you can leave them in the comments below and I'll add them to my list of questions for the next Q&A. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to the week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.